It is November. It's actually been November for a while by the time I'm recording this video on the 10th of the month, and as we're already one third of the way through, I suppose some explanation is in order as to why I simply couldn't get my bearings together quickly enough to release this 10 days earlier. Now, the CSGO Major was going on starting at the tail end of October, and that actually did indeed supersede everything, as my involvement in the CSGO esports space and video making and content creation and live streaming and all that stuff resulted in me making some videos on the Semipronogo channel, doing some live streams on that Twitch channel that's partnered with that channel, and essentially just making a bit of a mess of things, especially my sleep schedule, as I attempted to watch the major games, including the ones that were scheduled at 3 a.m. local time for me. So obviously can't hack that one for too long. You just end up driving yourself insane. There's many an all-nighter spent, going over some stuff and writing down some notes so that I could be prepared for shows that I was going to be doing later on in the season, if you will, during the event. But the important thing is that Major season has died down. Simple one is Major. If you're following CS, then you know, and if you're not following CS, you don't care. So we can talk a little bit about the other things that happened in October, and then I can get to the plans that have already been set in motion in the early stages of this month and will continue to find some progress as we progress through the month of November. So 1 month ago, in October, obviously, we were getting some more production done on Antikythera, which has continued to receive updates courtesy of Veek, and some data entry from myself, although most of that was related to orders, and I still have to do a lot of doodad work, so stay tuned for whenever I do some streams where that is going to be one of the items on the list. There is, of course, also Xibalba development. I've done some tech streams. I've done some general streams where I work on some concepts and stuff, so if you missed those, they were a little bit more scattered, as was the plan in the month of October, but that doesn't mean that they didn't exist. It's just they weren't that frequent. Cosmonarchy Brood War did receive some updates, although for the most part it was related to birthday maps, because I released 2 birthday maps, 2 installments of one for the future, the birthday campaign. One for Junthryong, the wireframe man from Korea, and one for Veek 7, obviously the engine architect himself. So those maps came and went. That was 3 Hong Kong for Junthryong and the 7th Q for Veek 7. So if you missed those, you can download them from the release repo. They are available. Some people have reported issues that I haven't been able to replicate, and a lot of other people haven't been able to replicate. So if you run into something, please let me know in the Discord server or some other method. And yeah, I guess that's pretty much it for the Cosmonarchy Brood War stuff and for the RTS stuff in general. There was of course, the Command & Conquer 3 playthrough that I've been chipping away at. We finally started the Nod campaign, and I just haven't gotten around to doing another segment of that just yet. But I probably will be doing longer individual videos or live streams of that game, just because I am not trying to have like a 30-part series where I go through the whole thing. It's very long and very much has overstayed its welcome, and if I wasn't for some mad reason committed to finishing the entire series, or at least Command & Conquer 3 and its expansion pack, then I probably long ago would have shelved the project. But I'm this far in now, and it just feels like sunk cost, even though I'm probably not even a third of the way through the whole production. But we'll get there, boys. We'll get there. We'll do some 4 or 5 hour live streams and have some miserable experiences, I guess. Hopefully funny ones, though. Hopefully funny ones. Where are we from there? Campaign video production did halt, or at least come to a slower pace. I do occasionally, maybe once or twice a week, pop in and do some writing for it and check in on the video project. But it slowed so that I can focus on stuff that's a bit more financially beneficial, as currently I am in sort of worse straits than I was before. It's not massively emergency stuff. Some stuff was averted thanks to Folka, so shout out for him for funding my continued rampage through the internet. But yeah, for the most part, I've just been trying to get more in touch with the CSGO crowd and do some more streaming, and especially post-major. When I did my birthday live stream, I made $50, and that was not something I was expecting, and it's obviously on the low end for like streamers in general if you're comparing it to the absolute tops, or even like the more reasonable, people who are streaming to like 100, 200 viewers. But it was stuff that I obviously wanted to continue developing and see how far it can go. And maybe that will cover everything that I need in the foreseeable future. And if I can do that recently enough, not just through streaming, mind you, but all sorts of other places, YouTube revenue and whatnot on the CSGO channel. If that works out and it's self-sustaining and it's only a part-time job in terms of hours spent on the stuff, or if I do more CSGO commentary and stuff like that, then you can feasibly see a way where I can dedicate that much time on that stuff and then still work on the RTS related content that I need to work on, and all can be well, and I won't be stressed out about money. That's the goal. That's the hope. That's the plan. So, speaking of plans, production plans. Antikythera and Cosmonarchy development will continue to see some streams. Specifically, I'll be working on some data entry stuff. I don't know if Veek will be streaming. He didn't stream. I don't think he streamed once throughout the entire month of October, but I could be wrong about that. Maybe he did one or two. Either way, his streams were even less frequent than mine. That might change going forward. That's obviously, I'm leaving that up to him. But I know he's been researching pathfinding and some other solutions like various geometry, like nav mesh generation and stuff. So we're keeping in touch. We're keeping in tabs with each other. And we actually do have some plans that I'll discuss towards the tail end of this video. So stick around if you're interested in like where we're going with that and what the adjusted time scale seems to be. Okay, and besides that, obviously, I have 2 December releases of One for the Future planned, so I am working on those already, but in a light way where maybe I do a couple hours every few days or something like that, just so that I can, sort of ease the burden, so to speak, because in the month of October, I was crunching pretty hard on trying to get those out, and I was even late for June 3 for example, so don't want to have that happen again. So, on the first channel, on this channel that you're watching this now, we will continue the scattered Xibalba streams and continue the Let's Plays. That obviously includes Command & Conquer 3. If somehow I finish that, which I really highly doubt I will in the month of November, I will spend some time on maybe Hedon or some of those other titles that I rattled off earlier, Portal 2, that sort of thing. We'll see where we go. We'll see what happens. But for the most part, I'm just focused on banging out the Command & Conquer 3 playthrough as far as Let's Plays go. So stay tuned for more streams of those. And other channel plans. Obviously, on the Semi-Pronogo channel, I've been gearing things up a little bit more. I launched a custom Discord server just for Counter-Strike related things. So if you're interested in that neck of the woods, you can find that in various places. I linked it in the Discord server that you guys are most notably familiar with, presumably. And yeah, aside from that, I'm just continuing to sort of branch out in terms of the kinds of content I'm making. Did some solo content. We'll be doing more of that. More interviews are coming back, and more talk shows, I'm sure, are soon to follow. And we'll just see where we can go after the fact. We'll see what other things we can pull together in terms of producing more regular content that is actually beneficial to the people watching it, right? So really just more regular content, I think. And so we'll probably do some more map analyses and stuff as well. But nothing massively specific besides, looking at esports stuff, maybe doing some VOD reviews or some, shall we say, like demo analyses or whatever. Finding some sort of way to create, maybe like I've been teasing this before, the Thorin's Thought style video series. That's obviously going to get started in this month, so stay tuned for that. And then in the future, the farther future, obviously the campaign video is still something I want to do. It's just that I can't justify working on that. That's not going to make me any money, and I never thought it would. But I can't justify sinking in like hours per day on something that when I am in the situation that I am. Maybe once I bank some cash, we'll get back to that. So that's why it's in the future category. And then obviously the mapping guide part 3, it's kind of a similar boat, although I have a little bit more priority, you could say, on that because it's already started and it's educational in value. I think the campaign video will also be educational in value. So both of those in that sense are still stuff that I want to do, but I just haven't been able to find it in the schedule to say, oh yeah, this is justifiable. I can actually spend hours doing this today when I still have to, make money in that day or whatever. So we'll see where that goes. And I guess that's pretty much it. The thing that I did tease in the earlier stage of this video is that I did want to do a stress test using Antikythera for my brother's birthday project for this coming year for CB22. And that's something that obviously I didn't really give too many details on before, but I think it makes a lot of sense to use that as like the benchmark and then eventually be able to release whatever that is as a standalone commercial title. So it won't be set in the Xibalba universe, and it will be set in some other like fictitious universe, probably comedic in nature, and it'll have gameplay probably similar to a MOBA, but a little bit more active, where players can choose to play as like champions of some sort, or they can choose to play as the RTS player. I'm still not 100% sure what all of the specifics are going to look like for that. And obviously I haven't even really fully started like game design documentation for it or anything. But the plan is to get something resembling that up and running for his birthday, and then be able to develop that further into a releasable standalone product where there's multiplayer and we can do fraud nights in it. and it has RTS gameplay, but it's not Zabalba, so we don't have to worry about the same sort of quality control on like art assets or writing even. We can sort of just focus on trying to put the engine through its paces. And then also, theoretically, if we deliver a well-crafted video game experience and we sell enough copies of that, that might sound cynical on its face, but if we're providing a good experience for the price dollar, like this would probably be like a $15 or $20 game, I'm thinking, or maybe even closer to 15, almost certainly, actually, now that I think about the scale that I'd be going for. Because we're probably talking about like Cosmonarchy Brood War level of scale, where each race has maybe 50 units or whatever the amount is in Cosmonarchy Brood War. And then, however many buildings as well. So we're not really talking about crazy stuff, and we're probably only talking about 3 or 4 races anyway. So it's a lot more manageable. It's like a mini version of Cosmonarchy retail that's set in the Zabalba universe. So that would be something that we can actually do. We can manage the art required for that. We can experiment with different things, and we can see where Antikythera's sort of pitfalls currently are, so that we can fix them up. And then obviously in time for the retail release of whatever that sort of birthday game is, turned retail product. So yeah, we'll get there, basically. That's the ultimate point here, is that we'll get there. And once we do get there, I expect things will go a little bit smoother. So thanks for strapping in. Obviously, we'll be on track for some non-fucked fraud nights where you can actually fight other players without desyncing and stuff when we actually get the engine operational in that level. So we'll see where we go, but that's all I got for you for now. So stay tuned. If you're interested in following the CSGO stuff, obviously I'll link my Twitter in the channel. Well, I always link my Twitter there, but my pinned tweet on the Twitter in the description is going to have links to everything that you need to see there. And that's basically it. So, bye.